So what are the main challenges in creating a market of social finance?
I think that we still don't have like a government, business and universities, for example, looking to their procurement or their buying to really insert in their value chain social business. And I think once we create some kind of frame, what exactly is a social business? Are we talking about mission logs? Are we talking about profit logs, asset logs? How can we look at those frames to really reinforce government, companies and universities to buy from social business? And I think there is a good intention of those organizations or different sectors to buy more from social business, but they still don't know, they are not informed. Another big piece, there are existing laws that could support these organizations or these sectors to buy more and create this market. If we talk about the legislation on how to support the small farmers to sell their products to the food during lunch of the schools. If we support using the law of recycling, there is a logistical reverse in Brazil. There is this law that could also support companies in their process to reduce waste, to buy more from social business cooperatives. So I think there is a big intentional market to be created, but we need to think about regulations, frames, and create this value chain that includes social business.
What could be a possibility of private and public cooperation in creating a market that values social finance?
What I have seen globally that I think we could bring to Brazil is that the government could support the creation of more accelerators or more social business using, for example, their development bank. The BNDES is our development bank. And they can use the existing mechanisms, like they can create a sponsored fund by the development bank to call for managers of funds to find social business. So that's one mechanism. They can also be a guarantor for a social business that now cannot access capital because they are in the startup moment, to use the government as a guarantor. So you can use some kind of instruments from the government to partner with social business, private sector to do this kind of scale up of this model.
Okay. And how can the cooperation in Brazil in the sector can be growing?
What we have seen is that this sector is built in a collaborative base. I see with CITAL we are organizing like a social finance task force, the same model as the UK, the Canada task force and the G8, trying to connect all the people together to think about regulamentations in Brazil and to think also priorities. So just for you to know the 4 priorities that the Brazilian Social Finance Task Force created in collaboration with 20 organizations, and now we have a task force with Fábio Barbosa, Pedro Parente, Antônio Hermílio de Moraes and others. We are looking for 4 recommendations. The first one is to see political lines of finance that can dialogue and create a market for social business. The second recommendation is how we can look to the value chain of companies, government and universities to buy more from social business. The third one is like how we can create bigger incentives to grow the intermediaries like accelerators, incubators, evaluators and people that or organizations that needs to grow and be supported in this early stage. And finally, the last recommendation is how can we support universities and academics to write and disseminate more knowledge, writing case studies, increasing courses at the schools, do research, evaluation, and also studies what are the existing mechanisms or new mechanisms that needs to be brought to Brazil and to connect who have the money to those who create a big impact.